These are very different cases of Evgenia. But the Wall Street Journal's Evan Gershkovich has been detained and accused of espionage. As Vadim mentioned, Vladimir's father was a journalist. What's your message to the Gershkovich family and to Evan's colleagues at the Wall Street Journal?
Well, my message, I think, is that they should be, and I think they are, proud of their son or husband or partner, because, just a couple of days ago, I spoke to a few journalists who interviewed me from Russia. They were journalists representing different media, but who chose to stay in Russia even after the arrest of Evan Gershkovich. And because they told me that they believed it was their duty to report about the situation from the ground. Because they said that everything that is being said about Russia from the outside, that look from the outside is always slightly warped. Being on the ground, they see how the situation develops. Being on the ground, they see what repressions are actually going on in the country. They see how harshly and fiercely the authorities are fighting any kind of dissent. Mm-hmm. And they believe it is their duty to remain in the country for as long as they can to report on that. And I was awed by this. I could not even express my admiration for their courage and for their work. So I believe that journalism today is just as important as any time, but in a situation in which we are today, in Russia, their work is hugely important. The remaining 3 independent media in Russia, the Dozhd TV, Echo of Moscow radio station, and Novaya Gazeta, have all been closed down in March, very shortly after the full-scale invasion had broken out. Over 200,000 online media resources have been blocked by the authorities. And all social media platforms have been blocked by the authorities in Russia to isolate the Russian population from any kind of independent information about what was going on in Ukraine, what is going on in the country. And so the entire media space has been basically cleansed by the regime. And it is, I think that the fact that last year Russia placed second worldwide by the number of VPN services installed in the country shows that there is a huge demand for independent information, and that demand needs to be met, and it is met by those specific journalists who continue the work from both inside and outside of the country. Hundreds of Russian journalists were forced to leave, and they continue the work.